NFL Primetime is presented by Miller Lite. Primetime is Miller time. And now, here's your host, Chris Berman.
Hello once again, everybody. I am Chris Berman along with Tom Jackson, Week 6 of NFL Primetime. And just when you thought you had things figured out the first few weeks, everything time. But it is a little old-time football. Some of the names and some of the teams and some of the uniforms that we watched when we were kids kind of moving to the forefront.
We've been doing this for a lot of years, and all I can say is this. This year is a free-for-all in the NFL. Anybody could win this thing.
Not so much last the first. You have the Rams, and then it's
we have the Rams and everybody else.
It's a scrum. It's a scrum. Now, speaking of scrums, they were in Cleveland, certainly waiting for this day. 1995, the Cleveland Browns fans, some of the best in any sport in any city, well, they had their hearts broken when the then Cleveland Browns became the Baltimore Ravens, moved out of town by Art Modell. The Cleveland Browns, of course, a couple of years ago, came back into the NFL with an expansion team in the same division as Baltimore. 4 times they played Modell's Ravens, 4 times they lost. The last time, 44-7 was a game last year in Baltimore, which many feel Baltimore may have run up. Cleveland didn't have the talent to get with the Ravens, but for many, they waited for this day in Cleveland for 2,000 days. And so that's the backdrop as the Cleveland Browns bring an attitude this year and a defense to what they hope will be go along with the Ravens on the dog pound, ready to bone the Ravens, I guess. Oh, they are Halloween early in the dog pound. First drive for the Browns. Tim Couch hits a Sellers Market and a Mike Sellers 13 yards. Then Thomas from the Cleveland area, one of his many young cousins, James Jackson, on the draw to the Ravens 22. 2 plays later, Couch, Kevin Johnson, they hooked up for a big win late. Remember against San Diego a couple weeks ago then. Jackson, wait a minute, you're running on the Ravens? 51 yards in 6 plays, 7-0. Cleveland.
Yeah, watch the 3 blocks here. Wallabaugh going to be on Ray Lewis. Look at the kick-out block on Sharper, and then Corey Harris gets pinned to the inside. What a great job of blocking the blocking triangle to get Jackson into the end zone.
So late first, Elvis Gerback play action. Wally Rainier hits him the ball in the air. Dwayne Rudd, who's had a big season for the Browns, makes the interception, their 12th of the year already. What happens here, Tom?
Take a look at Jonathan Ogden there at the tackle spot. He's going to look inside. The blitzer, Rainier, comes outside, goes right by him. You can see Ogden still looking for somebody to block.
Bit of NFL history. Congratulations, Matt Stover. 32 straight games with a field goal, breaking the mark of 31 that he co-held with the longtime Vikings kicker Fred Cox. Scores 7-3. Caught in a trap. Gerback picked off by Anthony Henry. Dialed the wrong number. Henry, who picked off 3 Detmer passes, remember, in one game, returns it inside the 20, Tom.
Yeah, great job here reading the route. Didn't look into the backfield until he knew the ball was in the air, and then made a great drive on the football.
Sets up a field goal, 10-3. Under 20 seconds to go in the half. 3rd and 3 for the Ravens. Ayan Badeo runs close to the 20. They close to the first down. Gerback calls timeout. They figure it's 4th down. 9 seconds to go, 4th down. Coach Brian Billick says, well, 4th down, let's get a field goal. Let's go off the field at 10-6. Field goal! And Stover hits a 38-yarder. But then, wait a minute. You're telling me it wasn't 4th down? It was 1st down? Look at the guys on the side. Well, you know what? You moved out of here 6 years ago. You got more coming to you, pal. That's the way Red Auerbach did it at the Boston Garden. What do you expect? So it's 10-6 at the half. Oh, James Trapp just levels. Dennis Northcutt, don't believe me? Listen for yourself. Northcutt able to stand, and he did come back in the game, which is a good, clean hit. And Northcutt tough. Now, speaking of tough, Jim Brown, they can run it better than anybody. Now, James Jackson, nobody's comparing him to Jim Brown, but the Browns running the ball. This is on the Baltimore Ravens, Tommy. It's 22 yards.
And again, if you're going to run the ball, you got to figure out a way to try to block Ray Lewis. And here, Brad Bedell is going to be the guy who does it from his center spot. He comes out, does a great job of kicking out, and a job of getting the runner back into the secondary.
So big play, 4th and 1 gamble. They figured a long field goal count, scrambling to Aaron Shea, 1st down. So instead of now just moving the chains, they get the 1st down. I love this attitude. Couch, we're going for the downs. Kevin Johnson, beautiful pass, 28 yards. 17-6, Cleveland. Next Ravens possession, caught in a trap. He can look out. Jameer Miller, the hit. Greg Spires recovers it. Cleveland ball, and Elvis has left the building. Next play, like a championship team would. Couch. Zing! Quincy Morgan, touchdown, 24-6, Cleveland. Last chance now for Baltimore. They're now 24-14. Randall Cunningham in, trying to work a miracle. Keith McKenzie, sacked. One of 7 sacks for the Browns. They've bitten off the Ravens. Finally, the Wicked Witch is dead. The Browns have beaten the Ravens 24-14. The Cleveland Browns, defense, attitude, and a celebration that's going to go long into the night in Cleveland. The defending champs have lost 2 in a row. They're 3-3. Cleveland 4-2. Tim Couch, one of the heroes, with our Ed Werder.
Thanks, Boomer. Tim Couch authors the most shocking upset of the new era Browns. Tim, one of the key things it seemed like you were able to protect the football, and that's something they failed to do. Did you think you could do that against this kind of defense?
Well, we had to do that. You know, we felt that our defense could go out and play well against their offense, and the main thing we had to do was just stay on the field offensively, keep drives alive, eat up some of the clock, and score when we got our opportunities, and we were able to do it.
You were able to manage the game effectively. Was that because you were able to start the game off with that long touchdown drive?
Well, I think so. You know, the first drive, you know, we marched right down and scored, and you know, had a great drive, and then we kind of went into a rut a little bit. But this is the best defense in the league, and they're going to shut you out sometimes. But I thought we did a good job of bouncing back and scoring when our opportunities came up.
And then in the third quarter, you had back-to-back long ball touchdown plays over Dwayne Starks. Were you trying to target him in single coverage?
Well, it was just the way the play set up. It wasn't anything against Dwayne, or you know, they got 2 good corners. McAllister's a great player also, but you know, it was just the way the play was designed, and that's just what side of the field we were going to.
All right, Tim, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Boomer, back to you.
Now, first things first, Tim, that throw Tim Couch made that we showed to Morgan?
Beautiful.
And they went right for it. It's like a team expecting to win. Yes. I mean, the attitude they had after 4th and 1 and after a turnover like that. Tom, you grew up in Cleveland.
What a meaningful win for the city.
You know what this means to them.
Well, it's a great win for this football team, and I think we saw that Tim Couch has matured as a football player. You give complete credit to him in that offense. He made all of his 11 completions count. The defense did an outstanding job of getting to the quarterback, punishing the quarterback, taking what the Ravens offense wanted to do away. But this is a game about turnovers, and in the 3 losses thus far this year for the Ravens, 13 turnovers. And again, that was at least part of the story. You know, if you're the Ravens, Trent Dilfer, who's now going to be looking for his 14th straight win, he's got to be looking pretty good, that job of managing the game that he was able to do.
Cleveland with a different attitude with Butch Davis. Now, who knows how far they're going to go at 4-2, but I tell you what, it's going far into the night tonight.
Yes.
And deservedly so. There are a lot of happy people in Cleveland when we understand. 2 teams not in the playoff on time. I feel secure in saying this. Washington at Carolina. Here we go. Marty Schottenheimer, can we please get a win? George Seifert, why are these 2 guys doing this? They such great careers. George with 2 Super Bowls. Marty for 20 years. Tony Banks. Next play, you're looking like Chauncey Gardner. Then Banks, Michael Westbrook, Eastbrook. And you know what? Here's what the Skins need. They need Sonny Jurgensen with the cigar. Come on down, Sonny, with Gar. Meanwhile, Simbayaka Batuka had 121 yards, and Carolina led 14-0 in the 4th quarter. Next possession, Chris Winky Dinky Don't. Incomplete to Chris Hetherington and picked off by LeVar Arrington. He goes all the way. 67 yards, and watch this. What? 14-7, the Skins in it.
Yeah, the ball was thrown actually behind Hetherington. You see him have to spin to get it. LeVar Arrington, a good job of driving on through the football, and those are the kind of big plays expected of him from the Redskins.
So Tony Banks, who got bounced in this game, but stood back up. This time, Rod Gardner, touchdown, 85 yards, and just like that in the 4th, the Skins have tied it. Under 4 minutes now. Banks to Michael Westbrook. All of a sudden, look at it's like Jurgensen's Redskins. Later in the drive, 2 minutes to go. Banks. Play action. Look at Tony. to Gardner. Where's the defense? Down to the 17-yard line. 32-yard field goal. The Skins are going to win it. Brett Conway on to kick a 32-yard field goal. Oh, you got to be kidding me. Looked like Tim Conway. No good. What, McHale, says Marty. But for overtime, we might need you again. Good job, Marty.
The job of the kicker is to kick the ball.
Third play of overtime, Banks. Gardner. There he is. Would you touch him? It's a touchdown. The Skins have won. But when you're 0-5, wait a minute. They said the foot hit down at the 5. He was accidentally kicked by Carolina, but doesn't matter. Conway, 23-yard field goal. And the Skins are off the schneid. They beat the Panthers in overtime 17-14. Banks threw for 346.
Well, and that's the key to 17-30. So you're throwing for over 50%, and you're throwing for almost 350 yards. Good job by Tony Banks today.
When we return on NFL Primetime, Ricky Williams' hero last week. Could he run the Saints to a win over the Falcons? The Chicago Bears. Speaking of old-time football.
Time.
Falcons, Saints. Falcons have won 10 in a row against the Saints, except the Saints swept them last year. Keith Brooking, Atlanta. Big underdog this time in New Orleans. Maurice Smith follows a block by Bob's sister, Christian. He night rangers his way for a 23-yard gain. Next play, Chandler. Play action. Chris Chandler throws it. Algie Crumpler bounces off one. Ranks another. That's a superior play for a touchdown.
Great play of staying with the ball and getting to the end zone.
So if Atlanta's tight end can do it, so can New Orleans. Cam Cleveland, the throw by Aaron Brooks and the catch. Wow.
Brooks puts it low and away. Cam Cleveland with the great catch, and then to look at the presence of mind to put the ball inside the pylon for the score.
Really two good plays as we are 10-10 early fourth. Chandler, play action. Defense bites. Chandler to Sean Jefferson, moving on up. Falcons lead it 17-10. Over 7 minutes to go, down 10. Haslett going for it on 4th and 2. Brooks forces to Willie Jackson. Brooking knocks it down. Haslett unhappy. Dan Reeves said, no, that was incomplete. That's correct. Under a minute to go, it's still 20-10. Brooks out of the shotgun. Atlanta backing up. And tipped away. Brooking again. They settle for a field goal to make it 20-13. Now here comes the onside kick. Number 3, John Carney. Number 4, Toby Goen. They're both on the field. Goen's going to do it. Are they going places? Sandy Knight, is he around the ball every game? I guess so. All those tricky shapes, Dan Reeves. You know that. So down 20-13 with the ball. Brooks to Robert Wilson. Nice grab. Brooks will heave it with just seconds to go.
Knock it down!
Good job there by the Falcons.
Yeah, they did knock that down.
They knock it down. Dan Reeves has won it. Atlanta goes into New Orleans. Saints may be looking to the Rams next week, but Atlanta surprised them. So Atlanta wins it by the count of 20-13. I think a game the Saints have to be quite surprised that they lost.
Well, and I think the fact that we showed Keith Brookings at the beginning of that highlight package, the great job of playing run defense, holding Ricky Williams to 51 yards.
Now we go the Bears and the Bengals. The winner of this game would have 4 wins. Anthony Thomas, second-round draft pick from Michigan. Look at the Bears in their black shoes, Tom. You talk about old-time football. Anthony Thomas motors outside, had Cincinnati for 46 yards. First and goal, the Bears. Next play, Jim Miller to Fred Baxter. He rustles into the end zone, 1 yard, 10-0 Chicago for Dick Girard. Now, last week, Corey Dillon had 140 yards, but against Brian Urlacher and the Bears defense, different story.
Yeah, you watch Urlacher work the middle along with the 2 big guys inside, Keith Traylor and Ted Washington, and they have virtually eliminated the inside run game for football teams. Here you see Corey Dillon getting stacked up time after time, trying to either run the ball inside just off the tackle or cut the ball back inside. Here he tries to bounce out, and again, the defense is able to catch up with him. So strong defense inside and speed enough to get outside like Dick Butkus.
Like Dick Butkus, the monsters of the Midway. Bears up 10-0. Marcus Robinson knee buckles. Tackled by Brian Simmons and Darrell Williams. Robinson out of the game with a left knee sprain, so that's better than it looked. Bears up 10-0 late second. Thomas up the middle. Bears trying to get more score before it's halftime. First and 10, Thomas. I mean, it's pretty basic formula, actually. It's what the Bengals would have preferred to do with Corey Dillon. There's a little pitch from the outside. Bears executing and doing it with confidence, Tom. 8-yard pickup, 110 in the first half for Thomas. But they didn't score in that series. So, Bears up 10-0 third. Miller, David Terrell, #1 draft pick, wide receiver, 41 yards, setting up a TD catch from Miller to Marty Booker. 17-0 Bears. So you're pitching a shutout, and you're running the ball. I'd say running it, Anthony Thomas. 22 carries, 188 yards. Touchdown, Chicago. The longest winning streak since '95. Their first shutout since '93. The Chicago Bears have a defense and maybe have a first-place team, Tom, if Green Bay would lose.
Well, if you run the ball, you make your offense comfortable, give your quarterback a chance to play action pass, and they held the Bengals to 21 carries, 35 yards today.
The Chicago Bears have defense. As we go inside the numbers, what an improvement for Chicago. You know, you wonder whether this will be the last year for Geron and his staff with Angelo taking over. But I'm not wondering anymore, just wondering what seed they might be in the playoffs, Tom. I mean, where is this coming from? Points allowed after 5 games this year, an improvement of almost 100. Touchdowns, down 9. Look at the numbers, Chicago, and they're only getting better. They're so young. The Bears, 4-1.
Inside the Numbers is brought to you by Visa, the preferred card of the NFL. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
When we return, the New England Patriots. A few weeks ago, the New England Patriots at 0-2 and behind Tom Brady playing for the injured Drew Bledsoe shocked the Indianapolis Colts. Terry Glenn came back last week, but, you know, within 2 weeks he was hurt again. David Patton, how would he fare in his place? So Tom Brady, David Patton playing. But when you get plays like this, a blocked field goal by Brandon Mitchell, Leonard Myers. Yeah, baby. Returns it 35 yards to the Colts 29. So they blocked the Vanderjagt field goal, and the Patriots special teams setting up Tom Brady. Antoine Smith, hand up to David Patton. Oh, my goodness, look at the speed. Wearing the number of Stanley the Steamer Morgan, number 86. Wow, only fast guys can wear that. 7-0 the Patriots.
Yeah, take a look there at the spot shadow. You see Damon Woody getting out in front. You see Tom Brady getting out in front. Great job of the quarterback and guard getting out in front center, making some blocks.
Peyton Manning to Marvin Harrison. 68-yard gain down to the 2. 8 catches, $157. Harrison. 3 plays later, though, the Colts are still 3rd and goal. And a rollout by Peyton. Look at Mike Vrabel. Fight off the block and make the play, Tom. But forcing the Colts to settle for a field goal.
We're going to take a look here at Bucky Jones, and Jones is going to do a great job here hurdling through. Look at him get over the blocker right there. You have to block inside out. They don't get that. Bucky Jones able to get through, get his hand on the football.
Bucky Jones from New Britain, Connecticut. Jim Morris says, wait a minute, we were 2-0 until we saw this team. So 2 field goals blocked. Meanwhile, let me tell you about a man named Brady. Tom Brady to David Patton. What? Look at how fast he could go all the way. 91 yards. That's a Patriot team record. Longest pass play in Patriots history. Was it Grogan to Craig James? We know Craig James caught it. We assume it's Steve Grogan. We'll have to figure it out. Brady to Patton with a screen. Oh, wait a minute. He throws it to Troy Brown, and it's bad renown. So Patton has thrown, run, caught a TD the first since Walter Payton did it 22 years to the day. How amazing is that? October 21st, 1979. Oh, why don't you catch another one? You are a receiver. Brady to Patton. 4 TDs he's accounted for. Brady 16 of 20. Meanwhile, Peyton Manning against the Patriots is just, he's in a funk. Bobby Hamilton recovers. Colts fans can't recover. They're gone. How about Tom Brady draft pick a year ago, Michigan. 20-5 at Michigan, including 2-0 in bowls. He's 3-1 as a starter for the New England Patriots. 38-17, the Pats roll. Our Hank Goldberg with David Patton looking very general-like.
I allow it for that all week because, I like to think of myself having a pretty good arm, but Charlie, he really didn't, pay me any mind early on in the week, and finally he said, okay, I'm going to give you an opportunity, and I showed him at the end of the week, I was able to throw, and he gave me the chance, and, came up with a touchdown.
Had you ever thrown the ball in a game before?
Never before. I've been live my 8 years, since college and all, and, just finally got somebody to believe in you, give you an opportunity.
All right. Talk about taking advantage of an opportunity. Let's go back to the studio.
Well, the thing that you think about when you think about this game, Boom, is not so much the numbers. You think about Tom Brady and the enthusiasm that he brings to the New England Patriots.
Patriots and the Colts have gone in opposite directions since they met the first time. I mean, the Patriots have wound up beating them twice by 21 points. By the way, it was Tony Easton that threw it, not Steve Grogan. Tony Dungy, Jerome Bettis. Dungy saying at Tampa, you boss, take it easy on us, please. Meanwhile, the defense of the Steelers did not take it easy on Brad Johnson. Joey Porter came up on all Huffman. Get used to this. Deshae Thompson, hello. Corner blitz. Boy, they blitz from everywhere, Tom. Bucks field goal, 3-0, but they wanted more. Cordell Stewart, the pitch to Jerome Bettis. Wait a minute. The bus is throwing. The bus is in the passing lane to Jeremy Tooman. 33 yards, 7-3 steal.
From Michigan.
Look at the play here, Tom. You just don't expect the bus to throw it.
We've got the corner spot shadowed there. His job is to force, so he's doing his job. The safety comes up across the field. That's the guy that missed the play. Doesn't have a chance to get back and prevent the touchdown.
Pittsburgh Steelers came in first place. Bill Carr having the defense and the running and some trickery. So, down 3-0. Well, Bettis, they're not down 3-0. It's 7-3 when you showed it to you. It's a 46-yard run where we know that this could happen. The Bucks listed at 255, but I got to tell you, that's the fastest 255 I've ever seen.
Outran the entire Bucks defense.
14-3, and here we go. Mike Logan on the blitz. And then next, Joey Porter. Next. And then in Washington on the corner blitz. Boy, they blitzed everybody, Tom, on different plays. And then Johnson says, wait a minute, let me throw it quickly to Keyshawn Johnson. And between three guys off his hands, picked up by Mike Logan. Triple cover. And then later in the fourth, 17-3, famous Amos Darraway fumble. And this is the second most famous chin in football, trailing only Don Shula. Bucks ensuing drive. Can they get it? Johnson. Sack by Von Ohlhoffen. Next, Johnson. Sack by Joey Porter. Next, Johnson. Sack by Joey Porter. 10 sacks. Ties a team record. Not even Joe Green and Dwight White. The dirty hole. And L.C. Greenwood had 10 sacks as a team. Johnson trying to get the Bucks going to Frank Murphy. But it's under a minute to go. They're down 17-10. Brian Kelly. Wait a minute. The Bucks may be in business for a heave. But after a long delay, a lot of quarters in the peep show, they decide that he never had possession. And you can kind of see that in that angle. Ed Hockley, good call. Steeler ball. Tony said, I asked the bus to take it easy. Bill, I should have asked you not to blitz. Joey Porter with 4 of the 10 sacks. Unreal performance by the Steeler defense. Jerome Bettis, a new page out of his book. Steelers, first place, fired up.
No one expected us to come in here and control the football game like we controlled it from start to finish. And there were some comments made from the other side that they were looking forward to the running game and that they were going to stop it. They said, bring it on. And we came down here and we were able to run the football.
I'm tired of Tampa. I'm tired of all these guys who, they talk so much and they go to the Pro Bowl because they talk. They ain't nothing but they paper champions. That's all they are, and that's all they ever going to be.
Oh, whoa. I mean, Steelers understandably talk. Well, let's start with Pittsburgh because they've done They actually are playing Buccaneer football. The Bucs are not anymore.
Well, it's initially Steeler football from a long time ago.
Yes,
where you
Buck
run
football back then was totally different.
Where you run the football, you run it up the middle, you run it off tackle, you run it outside, but you run the football and you run it consistently. They're doing that and they're making their quarterback comfortable. And even though Cordell Stewart only threw for just over 100 yards, the key is to play fairly mistake-proof football along with that running game and then have a stout defense. But when you think about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I think this is key, Tony Dungy told both of us this was going to be a mindset game, and I think you really have to worry about the mindset of this team now and their ability to defend the run. You know, if Coach said that they were average, they certainly looked that today.
Well, they can't defend the run, at least they didn't look like it against a really good running team, and 10 sacks. That means when your two lines break down,
yes, you're in trouble.
Tampa Bay 2-3, surprise. When we return, Titans, Lions, all sorts of fun. Who would be the candidate today to keep the Rams undefeated at the Meadowlands against the Jets? Titans finally got up to Schneid last week. They keep it going at Detroit. They haven't won yet. Jeff Fisher. Can he get the Titans back winning and maybe make something of this season? Derek Mason pass tipped, intercepted by Ron Rice. Whoop! 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 You get the picture, but it's Detroit ball. After the play, Brian Hopkins, Tracy Scroggins. You know what? Neither of us are having a good year. We're leaving. They're both thrown out. Second quarter, Titans have 2 field goals, and the turf popped up. Not old-time football. Get rid of it! Under 2.5 to go. Kind of wonder why Ty Detmer was ever in there if Charlie Batch was going to throw like that. Johnny's Martin, touchdown, 7-6 Lions. Minute 37 left in the half. Batch. Jermaine Crowell, how about this throw? Touchdown, 14-6 Lions. The score 14-9, Jason Hansen. Field goal blocked by Henry Ford. Now you knew Henry Ford coming to Detroit, something was going to happen. Donald Mitchell, touchdown. Titans special teams spelled away last week. 2-point conversion, good. Titans lead 17-14. Then Frank Wycheck involved in, don't tell me a lateral.
Well, boom, let me do this one. It's Wycheck, a lateral, throws the ball down to Derek Mason, 21. It always works for the Titans.
It does. And now this time here's another one. Well, not a lateral, but Wycheck lets you go downfield for a change.
Well, that's a great adjustment on the catch because the ball was thrown slightly inside. He's looking over his outside shoulder.
Now under 5 minutes to go, McNair to Wycheck. Touchdown. It's first of the year. Part of the struggles the Titans have had. They lead 24-17. Batch to Crowell. Tangled up with Mitchell, and they're tangled up in blue, as Bob Dylan would sing. Crowell down. Carted out. Batch.
Look at the protection from the line. He rolls right there, but otherwise, where's Javon Curse? Where's Kevin Carter when he's going back to pass?
Batch to Desmond Howard on 4th and 10. You can set your watch by it. Every 6 years, Desmond is going to catch a touchdown. He's a great return man. It's his first reception touchdown since '95. So now tied at 24, McNair to Derek Mason. McNair, this is where he's most dangerous, Tom, out of the pocket.
Yeah, gets out of the pocket, starts to rumble downfield, and smart enough to slide without getting hit.
10 seconds to go. Jordan, like last week. Good. So Jordan has 2 game-winning field goals last 2 weeks. Titans were 0-3, now 2-3. Detroit, game under Charlie Batch, but Marty Morningwake still looking for his first win of the year.
Well, and you know, give a lot of credit to Charlie Batch for coming along and winning and playing well. But the Titans winning the way they won a lot of those 13 games the last 2 years, winning hard.
And they play Pittsburgh, who's in first place next week on a Monday night, so they can get in it perhaps. Meanwhile, Rams without Marshall had Trung candidate. Hardly saw him last year. He was barely on the ballot. But what speed he has, you knew that? Maybe the Jets didn't realize he had these moves too, Tom.
You know, people say he's a straight line runner, but he's got just enough movement to his game to give himself a chance to elude some people.
Kurt Warner to it's a game. It's a touchdown, 7-0 the Rams. So St. Louis goes into the Meadowlands trying to beat the New York Giants, and now the New York Jets in consecutive weeks. Warner, Isaac Bruce, 22 yards. Next play, Warner, and to Hakeem. Breaks loose. Now watch this. What? The pitch to candidate. Oh, those tricky Rams. They don't care who's in there. What a play. 44-yard touchdown.
And it's a beautiful play because Hakeem and Candidate stick with the option all the way down the field. Hakeem doesn't actually give it to him until they're 15 yards down the field.
Under 3 minutes to go in the half, Vinny Testaverde. First time he's been picked off all year. Aeneas Williams. Now watch Randy Thomas give it a try, but Vinny to touchdown. 21-7 by Aeneas. And the Rams are way ahead. The Jets had come in at plus 15, but Vinny picked off. Now Trump Candidate with no Marshall Faulk. Look at him take the delayed handoff.
Candidate on a draw for 8 yards, and then again up the middle in between the tackles, being able to find the holes and find the seam. There, another run for 18 yards. Did a lot of what Marshall does for this football team. Now going to catch the screen out here to the upper part of your screen. Look at him hit the hole, get what he can out of it, get down, almost gets the first down.
He counted to line for 232 yards, and now he's a candidate for a game ball. Marshall Faulk likes what he sees, and why not? Now watch Warner at the top of the screen. I guess this is some form of single wing. Candidate gets the snap, touchdown, 12 yards. Boy, the Rams don't let up.
Yeah, you see the end of the play right there. Good job of sprinting to the hole. If anything, he's actually faster than Marshall Faulk. Maybe not as good a move, but very fast.
Now the Rams, the onside kick, 31-7, 5 minutes left in the third. Herman Edwards really doesn't like it. You know what? The Rams have the greatest playbook on earth. They win 34-14, and now the Rams are 6-0 for the third straight year. The only other team to do that in NFL history, the 1929 to 1931 Green Bay Packers. And hey, look, we figured Marshall Faulk out. The Jets could defend this a little bit. Rams saying, hey, just put somebody else in and we got all the
I think a couple of things come to mind. Number one, we saw Trump Candidate come in and do what we've heard he could do, and that is replace, at least to some extent, Marshall Faulk, the 19 carries for 195 yards, 3 receptions for 37. But I think more importantly, we saw the Rams run the football. And even though Mike Martz said on this morning's show, I'm really not worried about protecting my quarterback, we saw a different story in the X's and O's on the football field. He gave this team some balance, and I think it'll make Kurt Warner a lot more comfortable as a quarterback.
And I'll tell you one thing about the Jets this year, win or lose, they've stayed in all the games.
Yes.
They've tried to come back.
Yes.
The Rams were good enough to just get rid of them,
Yes.
and the whole second half was just the question of the final score. When we return, please come to Boston, says Jake Plummer. And big game out west. Could Doug Flutie and the Chargers upend the Broncos at the Big Q?
Welcome to